Now, education stakeholders are now calling for urgent and concerted efforts to facilitate the seamless adoption of technology in the country's education system.
Well, led by EdTech East Africa CEO Jeniffer Otieno, the players have termed the insufficient infrastructural capacity, especially in the underserved areas, as a key impediment in the implementation of EdTech programs.
The stakeholders, who spoke during the 4th edition of the National EdTech Summit in Nairobi, at the same time called for the establishment of a legal and policy framework to guide the use of digital tools, especially among the underage users.
As Kenya positions itself as Africa's technology hub, the country is now turning to education technology to prepare learners for the fast-changing digital world. It is for this reason that teachers, policymakers, innovators, researchers, and development partners converged at the semester in Nairobi to discuss how digital tools can improve learning outcomes and bridge education gaps.
You know, whether we like it or not, we are living in the era of AI. And one of the things that have been identified is if you are not building the workforce ready for the future of AI, then you will continue churning out redundant graduates.
Here, EdTech East Africa's CEO Jeniffer Otieno emphasized on the need to leverage on technology to enhance learning experience.
We want to work together to figure out how can technology be deployed equitably across the country to solve the persistent challenges that we have, but also to solve for the unique challenges that exist in different parts of the country.
However, the inadequate infrastructural capacity, especially in the underserved areas, was cited as a major challenge.
I think digital infrastructure continues to be a bit of a challenge, and I don't think that's news to anyone. While we know most schools have access to power, sometimes the power can be unreliable. We know connectivity is still a stretch for many of the schools.
How can we think about even rotating some of the tech devices in areas that are remote?
Lack of sufficient legal and policy framework on the use of various digital tools such as the artificial intelligence was also seen as one that can pose ethical challenges, and especially by the underage users.
You need to put safeguards in place to make sure teachers and learners are protected when they're using AI. So that's where the policy frameworks come in.
Making children also understand how to use AI ethically is very, very critical, over and above the policies, to ensure that, you know, this is being used in the right way, this is being used in a productive way.
To address this, among other obstacles, the stakeholders called for concerted efforts among all the relevant players to ensure that tech literacy is not a privilege for a few, but a right for every child in the country.
The education problems are complex. There's no single actor who can solve those problems alone. And it's only through collaboration that we're really going to overcome some of the challenges that we've been facing.
They, at the same time, reiterated the need for intentional communication between the employers and the higher learning institutions to help in equipping learners with the emerging and up-to-date technologies relevant to the industry's demands.
The kind of need now is to get on the same table. Let's approach it from the same side and not on different divides, so that we're able to say what is it that, let's say, as employers in the technology space, as employers in the automotive space, employers in the factory floors, what is it that they need? Then they talk to those who are training, so that then we are working from the same side, that we are preparing people for, you know, what you would call education and training for the real world of work.
John Kahiro for Easy Friday.